Welcome to Bookcast AI Podcast. Today, on our journey to unravel the complexities of systems, we explore Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows, edited by Diana Wright. It's a primer on understanding system structures, behaviors, and leverage points for change. Let's dive in.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how Meadows articulates that systems are more than just collections of elements. They are interconnected structures with unique behaviors shaped by their interconnections and purpose. Shall we start with the idea of how system purposes are deduced from behaviors?
Great point. Meadows brilliantly states that system purposes are deduced from behavior rather than rhetoric. This means we should look at the interactions within the system to understand its overarching goals, not just its stated objectives. This can lead to surprising insights about subpurposes that may conflict with the system's overall goals, often causing undesirable outcomes.
Indeed, and this aligns with the notion that changing system elements alone has the least impact. It's the interconnections or the purposes that can dramatically alter system behavior. Speaking of behavior, what do you think about the concept of stocks?
Stocks are intriguing. They are elements within a system that accumulate over time, changing through flows and acting as delays or buffers. This allows inflows and outflows to be independent and temporarily out of balance, which significantly influences overall system behavior. It's like having a reserve that can absorb shocks.
Exactly, and that's where feedback loops come into play. They are mechanisms where changes in a stock affect flows, creating stabilizing or reinforcing behavior patterns. Balancing feedback loops maintain stocks within a range, while reinforcing loops enhance changes, leading to growth or collapse. Systems with similar feedback structures often exhibit similar dynamic behaviors.
Feedback loops are indeed the core control mechanisms. Their relative strengths determine the system's behavior over time. I find it fascinating how delays in feedback loops can cause oscillations and change system stability. Have you ever thought about the implications of these delays in real-world systems?
Absolutely. Delays are pervasive and strongly determine system behavior. For instance, in thermostat-like systems, understanding these delays is crucial to achieving the target level of a stock. It's like a dance where timing is everything. But let's explore the idea of stocks and flows further. How do they allow for independence between inflows and outflows?
That independence is key. Stocks allow inflows and outflows to be decoupled and temporarily out of balance, acting as shock absorbers in systems. This decoupling means that a sudden change in inflow doesn't immediately impact the stock level, providing stability. It's like having a savings account that buffers financial volatility.
It's an elegant system design principle. And when we think about feedback loops, they're not just about physical processes but also information flow. The information delivered by a feedback loop can only affect future behavior, not the behavior that caused the feedback, which adds a layer of complexity to managing systems.
That's a critical insight. It emphasizes the importance of understanding the inherent dynamics of a system rather than focusing on predicting specific events. This leads us to a broader perspective on how systems can surprise us, especially when we consider nonlinearity and shifts in feedback loop strengths.
Absolutely, and that's where dynamic system studies come in. They're not about predicting what will happen, but exploring what could happen under different scenarios. It's about asking what if and understanding the range of possible futures.
This approach shifts our focus from short-term events to long-term trends and system-wide effects. It's about harmonizing subsystem goals with the whole system's welfare. Meadows reminds us that effective management involves understanding these dynamics and designing systems that align goals across subsystems.
Indeed, and as systems thinkers, we must always be on the alert for delays and their impacts. We should ask what is driving the driving factors to explore system boundaries and dependencies. This holistic view can lead to more resilient and adaptive systems.
Well said. As we wrap up, let's remember Meadows' reminder that systems, not external events, primarily drive their own behaviors. Our interventions should focus on high-leverage points like shifting system goals, information flows, and feedback structures.
And with that, we conclude our discussion on thinking in systems. Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey. Until next time, keep exploring the interconnected world of systems.
Thank you for listening to Bookcast AI Podcast. Stay curious and remember, the universe is a complex, dynamic system. Goodbye for now.
Bye.